I split 200 Minecraft players into 3 unique regions to see how they can work together and adapt to build the best civilizations possible. In this video, players will have to explore ancient structures, survive with custom abilities, and fight to the death to prove which nation is the strongest of them all. Which of the 3 civilizations will come out on top? Let's find out. This is 200 players simulate civilization across time in Minecraft. As all 200 players were released from their cages, they began roaming the regions and coming up with plans to take over the world. Most players did the same thing and began chopping down nearby trees so they could begin to build more advanced weapons and tools. Upon entering their regions, players are greeted with resourceful but dangerous nations. See, the 3 teams in this event are meant to show the difference between times and history, so the past team was naturally stronger and quicker with strength, speed, and 2 extra hearts, but they were also less advanced because they were from the ancient times. Players in the future were naturally weaker with negative effects, but they spawned into a region filled with futuristic items, structures, and technology. The present team, representing modern day, had no extra advantages or disadvantages. So, because of the differences between the team's abilities and regions, they would need to get organized and get gear as soon as possible.
I'll start setting up a farm. We need iron.
Over in the modern area of the map, the present team was trying their best to efficiently collect items and distribute it through their team.
Where are you?
Who has the iron sword?
I do, it's right here. Give me, over here.
Oh, yo, can I have it?
Since the present team had no noticeable strengths or weaknesses, they would have to rely on both intelligence and fighting power to survive in the later stages of the event. After exploring the region for some time, the present players came across a country village where they could obtain items like armor, food, and weapons.
Who wants a sword and a shield? I'll give you a sword and a shield.
I need a shield,
I'm good with that.
On the other side of the bedrock barrier separating the 3 teams, towering skyscrapers could be seen peaking above the clouds. This was Team Future's land, which consisted of massive futuristic skyscrapers, lava lakes, and a burned wasteland right outside of the city. The future team had less physical force because they had weakness and 2 less hearts, so they planned on looting the city's chests and getting as much gear as possible.
And now, time to decide who gets the other 4 infinite pearls.
Wait, we have infinite pearls?
In the final area, the past team was naturally the strongest of the 3 teams. These players could run faster, jump higher, and live longer than any of the other players in the event, but this came at a cost. They had limited technology. The past team could only craft items up to iron, meaning that the only way they could obtain diamond armor was by killing other players with that armor. Past approached the start of the event exactly like the other team did, collecting tools and resources for later on in the event.
Thank you so much. Oh my god, thank you.
As players began settling into their regions, they realized that each of the teams had some disadvantages. The future team was extremely low on food, and they would need to rely on a single safe house for food and other non-renewable resources.
We just need 6 iron, and then we can make an infinite water source.
I have cocoa beans.
The past team spread out across their land after collecting basic resources, wanting to explore their land before the borders would be dropped for day 2.
I want 5 iron for a chainmail chest plate and boots.
5 iron, I got you, man, right here.
Eventually, they stumbled across a structure made of stone bricks with lots of scary signs on the front, and the past players eventually realized that this was a maze. Not everything in the maze was safe though, and players had a difficult time making it to the top of the maze and collecting the prize. Their hard work paid off though, because the maze had some pretty insane rewards.
Guys, I got golden apples for people.
Some players had begun to build farms and collect animals, like Dr. Pickle from the present team, who managed to lead a cow right to their base. The present team made some more progress as well, collecting pigs so they could breed them and create a renewable food source. Soon after the start of the event, the present team encountered an extremely strong mob called a bandit, and the players who were attacked by the bandits fled before they were killed.
Oh no! Oh god, I'm gonna die.
All 3 teams are beginning to form civilizations, with the past and present forming groups of players and working together to survive. The future, however, was still spread out across their region, exploring the promising structures, with many players finding hordes of mobs hidden behind the seemingly safe skyscraper walls. The future team had extreme disadvantages when it came to food, because they were in a mostly barren wasteland, and they were only allowed to eat advanced foods, being from the future. So they were forced to resort to the oldest form of food gathering known to man, fishing.
I'm making a farm. I'm gonna set up a farm, then I'm gonna set up a cactus farm, then I'm gonna set up a composter, then I'm gonna fish.
Over at the past region, the players are still working together really well, searching their land for resources and making stronger gear. On their journey, they found a huge ravine cutting through the mountainside, filled with huge amethyst crystals with mines stretching far underground.
There's traps? I didn't know that. No, I'm making a water bucket. Nope.
The players that found this mine quickly searched it for food, being careful to look for traps that could be hidden in the darkness. The rest of their team had been making their way through the mountains and had found an ancient castle at the edge of their region. This structure provided the most support for the past team, so they decided to use it as a base.
Just put blocks around it for right now until I get this.
The past players built a cobblestone wall for extra protection against potential invasions, wanting to be prepared for day 2 when the border separating the 3 teams would be removed. While this was going on, the players in the present were still making good progress. While the past and future were still exploring, the players here had created a huge stage and seating area so they could hold an official election to fill roles like military leader, building leader, and overall leader.
Quiet while he's talking.
And we're gonna build a base up there. So when the enemies attack, they won't reach us. We can just place a lava bucket down and it's gonna cover the whole thing up. We'll be safe. Yeah, one more thing. The past is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we're called the present.
Woo! I like that.
Alright.
Thank you.
Do you have anyone else for builder?
After a closed voting session, it was determined that Bread Jedi was the chosen leader for the present team. So after voting concluded, he was given a leader's crown.
Boys, I got the crown!
The crown was enchanted with Protection 5, so it was stronger than a fully enchanted diamond helmet. Players in the past and future teams were also realizing that they would need to elect a leader if they wanted to survive the potentially deadly days to come. Cotton from Team Future was chosen by unanimous decision because of his leadership skills and his experience as a leader in these types of events. The past team also took a break from their exploration to choose a leader, deciding that Wilding would be the best fit as ruler for their team. Now that the 3 teams were beginning to settle into their land, they began construction on bases to protect themselves against attacks on day 2. The present team laid out the blueprint for a cobblestone wall, and the past team took advantage of the pre-built castle on their land, but the future team mainly stayed in a glass safe house they found, which contained the only sources of food in their region. At this point, all 3 teams were beginning to become comfortable and things were looking up. Day 1 was almost over and everything seemed peaceful until a few present members decided to reveal their plans for the next day.
We gotta get experience so we can equip up and we can take out the future. Okay. We have to do assassinations, that's the thing.
An attack from the present team could leave any of the other nations in shambles, as they were one of the stronger teams in the event. I met with another present player who decided to tell me what was going on with his team and why they planned on attacking.
So what's going on right now is, Bread Jedi set himself up as like a PvP leader or whatever. There's supposed to be 2 other faction heads, but he's kind of just taken over, so...
Now that the present team's plans had been revealed, day 1 ended with all 3 teams doing extremely well in their race to create the best civilizations possible. Immediately after day 2 began, it became clear that the present members plotting the invasion of the future were not representing their entire team. As the secret group made their way back to the rest of the present team at the start of day 1, they could be heard saying to keep the meeting a secret.
No, we have a there's a traitor in a different group. Someone was going to betray us, but then they decide not to, and they got information from the future, and there's a future person who's going to drop off supplies to the past. We're going to ambush him and get our...
Also, since it was now day 2, many things had changed. PvP was now enabled, meaning that the event could now get violent if the 3 nations didn't achieve peace. The border separating the 3 teams was also taken down, meaning that they could cross freely into the opposing team's land. The future team began day 2 by farming one last time, and then meeting outside their base for a meeting where they discussed the possibility of an invasion. It didn't look like the future team was going to intentionally cause a fight, but they were talking about leaving their land to explore the other areas. At the same time, some of the past region was carrying out a huge plan. After day 1 had ended, some members of past had created a plan that would involve ambushing their leader, Wilding, and killing him. They didn't have a reason for this, so this was the first sign of useless violence in the event. Sure enough, as Wilding was busy coordinating the actions of the past team, he was attacked by some fellow past members like Operion and X-Master. These 2 were known for being good at PvP and being extremely violent in events like these, so Wilding knew he was in trouble. When the other team saw that the leader of the past team had been killed, it made them more cautious of the past team. Future decided to send a military search party to look through the past region and figure out what was going on. This plan backfired though, because as the group of Future players made their way into the past's land, the group of assassins from the past tried to invade the future, only to find an empty city.
Guys, I know where Future is.
Yeah, look.
The border of past. My friend just got me.
Yeah.
The group of Future players were confused when they didn't find any past players in the region, so they decided to return back home. During all of this, the present players had been farming and building in their own land, not wanting to get involved with any sort of violence, knowing that it would ultimately result in the death of all their teammates. They constructed a wall around their base and used lava casting to create a huge defensive wall behind their base.
So these guys are bad news. They can destroy us, so we gotta be careful, boys.
What?
It also looked like Bread Jedi had given up his plans of invading the future team because he stayed back with the rest of his team. But while the present team was peacefully building their civilization, the future and past teams were caught up in a chaotic situation on the other side of the map. As the group of Future players were returning from their trip through the past region, they saw the group of past assassins stealing from their base and decided to attack the past players, starting the first organized battle of the event. As the Future players fought as hard as they could, trying to defend their home, it became clear that the past team's strength was overpowering the Future team's weakness. Future players were falling left and right, and the battle was ended when the leader of the Future team, Cotton, was killed. Cotton's death left the remaining Future players terrified, and they fled their land to avoid being killed. Most of the remaining players from Future joined up with the present team, and they accepted the refugees without question. Now there were two main groups left in the event: the past, which had destroyed Future and was now focused on conquering the other players by force, and present, which had more players after the invasion of Future. These two teams had a huge decision to make because they could either continue the event peacefully or they could end it all in an all-out war.
Everybody loot up everything, we're gonna move out, alright?
Okay, take every...
We're gonna find them, we're gonna kill them.
As the present players built up their walls in anticipation for an attack, something surprising happened.
Look, okay, X-Master, we can't end it like today, so here's the plan. We go to them, we ask them to like ally.
The players from past were calling for a peace arrangement, so they headed to a neutral area of the map where they could meet peacefully with the present team. The present leader decided to trust the past, and he led his army of present and future players to meet with the past.
Okay, no, make sure no one's left behind.
Guys,
wait,
everyone who wants to fight. Where's the naked?
Everyone, we're leaving.
Look how many people are over there. Whoa. Stand back. Let me talk.
We wanna talk.
Don't point your arrow.
Everyone don't fight.
Tension was high as the two teams conversed, but it seemed as if all fighting really would be avoided.
No, we're not.
Wait, why is the people behind us?
Even though I've killed 3 people.
We're allying.
That's kind of the same word.
Oh my god.
Okay.
The present team eventually announced that they would accept an alliance, but they wouldn't join the past team. The past accepted this offer and left the meeting to begin building up their civilization.
Guys, let's make a civilization.
Upon arriving at the old future base, the past players assigned builders.
We need to build like a place, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Parian, listen
to
bro. I'm a builder now.
And miners.
Yo, deep ticket.
Well, I might go mining to Parian.
Okay, just go mining.
To help create a real functioning civilization. Things were looking up for the seemingly peaceful nations, so the present players decided to try and join the past players officially.
Guys, let's go! On me!
As the present members approached the newly founded past civilization, tension was high. Past acted like they would accept the present players into their team, and they even said that too.
Guys, we're here for the alliance.
What's up?
Where are you?
Alright.
But something just didn't feel quite right. As the past and present players merged again, they began discussing how they could work together as a civilization.
As a token of gratitude for teaming with us, you get this.
Hey, I'll take that.
Something still felt off though, and this is when the past players showed their true nature. The members of the past team slowly separated from the present players, and oblivious to this, the present members now stood together in one group right where a player named Juan wanted them. Juan, without warning, carried out the plan that he had secretly devised with the other past players.
Where's this
Alright, Brad.
Present team.
What? Yes! Yes, Juan!
The End Crystal Blast, which had surprised the peaceful present players, killed almost their entire team. The remaining players from the present team fled the scene, knowing that they could not trust the past players ever again.
Stay back, everybody just stay back.
Get inside,
Everybody stay
guys.
back.
Group into the base,
Group
Group in base.
As players ran across the map, trying their best to avoid the vicious past players, time ran out for day 2 and the server closed for the night. Day 3 began with almost everybody on the server hiding from the past nation, tunneling underground to escape the violent nation. Some of the remaining present players met up at their old castle and began preparing for what could be the final battle.
We know, dude. They're bad news, man. They're gonna come after us.
Now there were few survivors, and those still hiding from the past were scared for their lives. One player, Collapse, had tunneled underground by the border and had been keeping himself occupied by writing poems. I liked your poems.
Thank you. They are very expressive of how I feel. So, the loneliness gets to me.
Meanwhile, the remaining players from the present were waiting anxiously at their newly fortified castle, hoping that they could evade the past players hunting them down until day 3 ended. They waited on top of the castle walls, keeping an eye out for past players approaching their base. As the present team was preparing for the inevitable fight, the past was making their way across the map, cutting through the past region to attack the castle from the side. After camping out in a nearby mountain, waiting for the right time to attack, Operion gave the signal and the past team attacked.
Yo, team, I wanna talk, hold up, I wanna talk.
I don't know who's who.
It's up the party.
Every single player from the present team was either killed or taken hostage, so the only remaining players on the map were underground, safe from the past nation forever. And now, with the past nation victorious in their battle with the other nations, and the surviving players trapped underground, it was safe to conclude the experiment with a clear winner.